So, what's up everybody? I thought I'd start my vlog out here today. I was thinking about it this morning because it was so sunny, beautiful blue skies, but I've left it so long. I don't know if you can see, but it's actually getting a bit cloudy. There's a bit of blue sky, but anyway, I wanted to share it with you. I'm feeling pretty good. I got a lot of positive feedback from my last vlog around prepping for an appraisal or that kind of stuff. So I've been thinking long and hard about what is it that makes people successful, what is it that's made me successful today, and how can I share that with you. So roll the reel, enjoy the vlog, and here it goes. Hey, so what's up? Where do I start? So as I said before my intro, I've thought about what it is that makes people successful. This is a nice follow-on to my last vlog around appraisals and some of the other tutorials I'm putting together for you. But what is it that makes a successful person successful? What is it that's made me as successful as I've been? I'm not saying I've been the most successful person in the world, but I consider what I've achieved in sales over 20 years pretty successful, and I'm pretty happy with where I am and where I'm going. And there's some things I stand by as super important, and that is what I'm going to share with you today. So without holding back, first, move forward. In fact, all of this is sales related. Let's step back a bit. All of this is very sales related, but I have chosen specific points. I think whether you're in sales or whatever you do in your career, this applies. So we'll go again. First one, moving forward. Everything you do should be moving in a direction, and it should never be going backwards. It should very rarely be going sideways, and it should always be going forwards. And let me put that into context of a sales and a deal or a sales environment. You do a deal, it's very easy to celebrate, take your foot off the gas, and I've seen it time and time again with people in my teams, and they forget that it's a classic cliche, you're only as good as your last deal, but it's true, and you've got to keep on moving forward. And once the deal's signed and all that work's gone into it, you should have that pipeline of other things flying through that you can then drive forward for your next deal. So you've got to keep moving forward, and whatever context you put that in. If you look at what you do day to day, if you look at your goals, look at your achievements, look at your dreamliners, I'm going to touch on that on another vlog, whatever they might be, you've got to be moving forward towards them in that direction to make them happen. So trust me, focus on moving forward, whatever aspect you are doing today, yesterday, now, or in the future, move forward. Next, it's an obvious one, and I say it all the time. Plan your day. For goodness, people, if you're not planning your day already or planning your week, you are on a back foot. I can tell you and promise you one thing for sure. Every successful person I've met, or any of the most successful people in the world, without doubt, they do not walk into a day without being planned first. It's an absolute necessity to prioritise everything you've got going on. And you hear people say, well, I've always got too much stuff going on, there's never enough time. Well, that's just down to a lack of planning and not realising or prioritising what things have to get done and what things you can just push out to the side. You don't need it. It's another person's problem. But anyway, I'm not going to stay on this one for too long. Plan, and trust me, just for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, for a month maybe, just before you walk in to work on a Monday, whether you do it Friday evening or before you walk in on a Monday or at the weekend, plan your week. Rough framework, what has to be delivered, what are the things that are gonna move you forward. For me, in sales, it's very easy. Where's the revenue coming from? My management do not care too much what goes on in my day to day as long as revenue is being driven forward. If I'm pushing revenue, they're happy. If I do any other task that sits behind revenue on my list, I shouldn't be in my job. So it's all linked. Plan your day to move forward. Never Never, 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 never negative. Always, always, always positive. Let me explain to you why very, very quickly. Rejected. If you're easily put down, you're going to find it very, very hard to be successful. Because again, if you look at the successful people in the world, if you look at what drives them, look at common traits about the ones that are really successful opposed to the ones that are just coasting. I very, very rarely meet someone negative who's successful. It's just a way of life, and it's not easy. It's easy to get sidetracked. It's easy to let all those outside influences kind of knock you down, especially when you think about family and kids and work and anything else going on in the world, and problems with the house, the car's broken down, your train's late. They're all outside factors. Some you can control, some you can't. But when you're in the office, doesn't matter. They're external. You can't let it bother you. Being positive is super, super important, and most successful people, without doubt in sales, but do you know what, full stop, generally are pretty positive people. And I've had people say to me before, Ollie, why are you so positive? Because I don't want to be negative. I like surrounding myself with positive people. I do not like surrounding myself with negative people. I'm going to have a bit of an interlude before I show you or spoil the surprise with this one. But I read a lot, as most of you know. Well, technically I don't read, I listen because I use Audible, or audio books. But one thing that makes you better is failure. And I'm going to do a whole vlog on failure and fear and the negativities that can have in your environment and how to deal with it. I'll save that for another time. But one thing I would say about all successful people and people with that kind of trait is that they learn from mistakes. Mistakes happen. One thing I can tell you is learn from them. If you make a mistake once, then learn from it and don't make it again. It's simple. And if you speak to any successful person, they make mistakes. In fact, they probably made more mistakes than you've ever made, and that's what's made them successful, because they learn from them, they deal with them head on, they analyze them, which is the biggest thing when you make a mistake. Analyze as to why you made a mistake, what went wrong, just break it up into little segments, and then deal with each of them head on, and then make sure you don't make that mistake again. So, learn, and as I said, this touches on things about fear, it comes to failure. I'm going to touch on that on another vlog. So, last two. This one is successful people have another trait. They're often very, very selfish. And do you know what? To be selfish, sometimes you have to focus on being selfish, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. So, focus selfishly about your time, because it's not their time, it is your time. So what do I mean by that? Where am I going with this before you all think I'm absolutely crazy? I get requested God knows how many meetings on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. And it's not really sometimes, I often look at my calendar, it's empty, I accept it. I've got lots going on, I don't get really too much into the detail of why that meeting's been requested. Especially if they're internal, and they usually are internal. But I guess the point I'm making is you control your calendar, you control your time, and you need to decide what or how important the time they're asking for is. But it means the time you do get, you've got to make the most of. And successful people do exactly that. And this, don't get me wrong, this does not mean working 6 in the morning till 9 at night just to be successful. You hear about a lot of CEOs are doing these crazy hours. Good for them. I don't believe in that either. What I do believe in is getting the junk out of your life. So, It's your time. Be selfish with it. Successful people usually are. And without further ado, the last one. And this won't be a surprise to a lot of you. And you know it, everyone knows it, you're told about it every single day. You hear it on the news, you hear it in magazines, you hear it just about everywhere. But exercise. Eat healthy and exercise some more. I'm not by any means, an absolute super freak fitness guru, but I do eat healthily whenever I can. I do exercise, I do a lot of running. I'm doing a Reading half marathon, 3 days. If you're running it, look out for me. But I guess the point is, if you look at any professional, a professional footballer, a professional athlete, they obviously have a very strong regime around exercise because it's what drives them, but they also have a very strong regime about healthy eating because that's to physically get their body in shape. Now, I argue, and I'm happy to argue this with anyone, if you want to be super successful, you're going to put a huge amount of pressure on your body, certainly physically, to some aspect or another. So why is it that you don't need to be in your absolute best shape to deal with that? Because being in your best shape physically means you're in your best shape mentally as well, which is so important for you to deal with the daily tasks in your days. Being fit and healthy is absolutely essential, and it really helps to unwind as well. When you've had that bad day, you're feeling a little bit stressed, you've got a lot on, going to exercise kind of gets those endorphins going, it makes you feel good, it riles you up. I talked about on my preparing for appraisals, how with my appraisal coming up that day, I was out running in the morning, I was feeling good, I ate healthily. By the time I walked into that, well, it was a call, but by the time I started that call, I felt good. So, exercise, eat healthy, exercise some more. It is super important. Get it done. On that note, I hope you'd enjoy the vlog. There were 6 tips there. They're copied below with the link. Watch the video, hope you enjoy it. Loads more tutorials to come. I'm running the Reading Half Marathon this weekend on Sunday. I'm gonna vlog it. I'd love to see more people subscribing, more people commenting. I got some great feedback from my last one. I'm signing off. I'll see you soon for the next one. See you later.